Eventually we'll have an intro. What is up, guys? Welcome to the MPL Philippines Weekly Recap. It's week number 3, and it's me again. It's Naisou. Hope you guys had your coffee. If you don't drink coffee, I hope you had your whatever you drink. Matcha, water, mango juice. Oh, let's adjust our Mr. Panda here for a second. Week 3 is already done and dusted, and it was a pretty good week. It was a pretty good week, I would say. You know, I think if you guys watched any of the games over this week, there were some surprises. Definitely there were some surprises. I think some people might have been disappointed with some things too, but that's what we're going to go over today. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, you got 15-20 minutes right now. We'll cover the basics for you guys, all right? Excuse me. I've been yapping all weekend, man. First and foremost, of course, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to all the people that watched the restreams this weekend. I only casted one day this week for week 3. That was on Friday. So I was on desk for Friday. And then on Saturday, we did a 7-hour stream, bro. Like a 7-hour stream. Like, when was the last time we did 7 freaking... I don't know how the full-time streamers do it, but 7 hours, I was cooked afterwards, basically. But it was fun. It was super fun. Everybody joining on the stream, whether they were watching on TikTok or Twitch. We did get restricted on Twitch. As you guys can see, the background has changed a little bit. There's no longer any refreshments back there. So I guess TikTok didn't like that. We got restricted on TikTok. Yeah, we got restricted on TikTok. But I think everything's okay now. I don't know if that lasts a little bit on the account. Anyway, it's been fun. Shout out to all the viewers and new followers and new fam members, all the OnlyFams out there. Yeah, OnlyFams is what we're calling them. So if you guys are over here on YouTube and you want to join the streams, I do stream MWF and sometimes randomly too. Sorry, my voice, I might be doing that a little bit because my voice it's been overused and underappreciated. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Day 1, where are we at for day 1? Day 1. This was a day of sweeps, man. I feel like I'm a little bit too close to this guy. Okay, kicking it off week 3. This was interesting, right? I think a big part of this, though, too, coming into this, at least from a caster's perspective, we were thinking maybe this would be a 3-game series with Omega and Twisted. It wasn't, because of a specific reason here, guys. Like, this is Super Yoshi Day, like Super Yoshi series right here. So for those that don't know, Super Yoshi is playing in place of Chaknu, the Chak Mamba. This is kind of what we saw last week in week 2. But this week, this was his week, man. Super Yoshi just absolutely made plays as a roamer. And it's why they got 2-0 against Twisted Minds, aside from Twisted Minds just kind of really struggling with the fact that they kind of wanted to try some new things. Now, before the series even started, Twisted Minds came over to the desk and let us know we're going to be doing some weird shit. I mean, not verbatim, but they did say they were going to try to do some stuff in the draft. And that's exactly why you see the Floor and Angela pick. This is like going back to the healing meta, you know? Did it work for them? No, it didn't. Game 1, god dang. That's 10 minutes, dude. That's less than 10 minutes for the win. And this was just a hyper-scaling, fast-paced game. Of course, Super Yoshi played the Ruby. This is one of his picks that he's really well known for. Again, the last time people probably saw him before he came into this season was TL Academy, I think, in the MDL. And then, but dude, this, like, I'm sure some of you guys probably saw the clips, but he played the Badang Roam in game 2. Okay, and just to show you guys, look at this reaction, courtesy of Wolf right here, courtesy of Wolf. Look at this. Look at this.
What?
We got to go back a little bit. Look at this. Look at what he does. Look what he does. Watch him right here. Oh. Gets retribution. Still goes.
What?
fights, fist cracks ultimates, and still survives, dude.
Hello?
And still survives.
Hello? Hello?
And still survives.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's Midnight freaking out. We were all freaking out there, man, because, again, that play is insanity. And that either tells us that Bedang needs to be fixed, that maxed out CDR reduction for him is insane. But that was just, you know, that was a beautiful escape and just showcasing how good Super Yoshi is. Now, can the Mamba do stuff like that too? Yes. But I would say that right now, at least in my opinion, Super Yoshi really fits in this current meta with this lineup from Smart Omega. You guys can let me know what you guys think below. Is Super Yoshi the right choice right now? Is it better if Chaknu, the Mamba, continues to, you know, give way and maybe they switch up next week? I don't know. But they both definitely serve what I would say is a different purpose, right? Both amazing players though. And again, moving on, like I said, we got to take note of this for later too. The Angela the Florin from Twisted Minds. Moving on to match number 2. This is also a sweep. So this was a day of sweeps. It was a very quick day. Team Falcons 2-0's TNC. Now that was pretty, honestly, at this point, I thought this was going to be a 3-game series. But it's crazy because game 1 was 10 minutes also. So back-to-back series, we had game 1s that were like 10 minutes. They brought out the X-Borg, which I think some people slept on, because we've been seeing a lot of like debut picks. Now the X-Borg actually ends up working out really well against the CC. And in game 2, you know, same thing, man. They just went for it. They just went for it because game 1 too, it was so quick because the scaling of a Hayabusa versus a Baksha is actually insane. And Kyle Teasy just went ham on the Hayabusa. Like if I remember right, yeah, he got the first blood in like under the tier 1 tower in mid, like super quick, and then from there he just snowballed the hell out of the jungle. And there's no way a Baksha is really going to be able to compete with that kind of hyper scaling that a Hayabusa can bring. So yeah, that game, that's why it ended so quickly. It was just an absolute snowball. Moving on to game 2, this is where the GOAT, one of the GOATs of MPL Philippines, gets a massive milestone. This is PHEWWW, right? Courtesy of spin.ph here. He makes history by being the first player to reach 3,000 assists in MPL PH. So that's our boy PHEWWW right there. He is just, I don't know what more he's gonna smash, man. I mean, he's got 2 world titles, 3 MPL PH championships, 2 C game gold medals. Right? He's got so much. He's also a Hall of Fame, a Hall of Legends inductee as well. Just been playing since the beginning of the league, basically. So just an absolute monster of a player. So congratulations to PHEWWW. He did play that Selena. One of the few players that actually makes Selena work. Now, Selena still has a abysmal win rate, but give it a few, makes it work. Blush me. All right. So that wraps up day 1. Let's go to day 2. Day 2 was mother of series stuff again. I can't remember if Chantel and Brigitte were both casting on this day. Maybe they weren't. I don't think they were both casting on this day, but I know it was a long day. We almost had 9 games, right? We almost got to the 9-game mark with TLPH and Onic. Literally thought this one was going to be the 3-game series, but this was also the day. Day 2 was also the day that I did the 7-hour stream, and didn't know if I'd be able to stream all 3 series, but it was fun as hell, and we did it. So kicking it off here, we got AP Brenda versus Twisted Minds, and this is Twisted Minds' first series win. They finally get a point, which is huge because the standings are pretty tight, right? Like the standings are pretty tight. Here's the updated standings. I think this is updated as of yesterday, should be. So you can see that 1 point that Twisted Minds got. There's multiple teams here with 1 point. Onic being one of them. So just because you've been having a rough, beginning of the season, getting that 1 point could bump you quite up, especially if they get another win and get to that 2 points, right? That's why the point systems are very important here as we get, especially in the regular season, the halfway point of the regular season, because you're going to start seeing some of these teams that are really close to each other start to, edge towards the top. And especially when you get to like week 6, week 7, that's where things get a little spicy, right? So it is big that Twisted Minds gets their first match win. This was a pretty good series, I would say. Another quick game that they had here when they lost to AP Bren. I guess in a way, too, you can look at it as at least AP Bren got a game win. So there's some improvements there that we could say. The other thing that really pointed out to me was they brought it back. Again, this Florin and this Angela combo. They brought it back. And not only that, right? They played Alice all 3 games, dude. MP just spammed Alice, right? But game 1 and game 3 is where he had that additional kind of healing come through. They didn't change the lineup much, right? Phoveus, here's the mainstay. Phoveus, Hilda, Harith. Phoveus, Hilda, Harith. They did that 2 games in a row. And you look at previous times, they love the Phoveus, right? But again, they finally get their win. They bring this healing kind of meta back. The scaling and healing from an Alice are absolutely insane. When they showed the total healing within the game itself, it was absurd. So I don't know if more teams will start to do that or if that's just going to be a Twisted Minds thing. But nonetheless, they get their first dub. And moving on to match 2, this is Omega and Rora. It was also a 3-game series with Rora getting the 2-1. Now this, if I could tell you guys, I do this in every video, if I could tell you guys to watch one match, it would be this. This is like Omega versus Rora on day 2 of week 3 was, especially game 1 specifically, was the cinematic experience, like absolute cinema for the people out there. Game 1 of this series was so good. I mean, let me show you guys a glimpse of this. Look at this, right? This is from the Filipino broadcast.
TikTok timers na ito, 30 seconds para kay Lewis. 40 naman.
Right? That's like, look at this. Look at this push into the base. Look at this defense from Aurora. Domikai? Look at the diversion. Boom. And still going, and Jome tries to finish it. So again, I highly recommend, if you guys want to watch one of the games from week 3, watch game 1 of that matchup between Omega and Rora. Now, the rest of the series was good too. Very close games, I would say, 17 and 18 minutes there. But nonetheless, it was nice to see this matchup. And Rora was tested. They did bring out the Faramis, end up bringing out Faramis in game 3, which actually ended up working really well for this lineup. Now, Faramis is one of those picks, again, that is starting to creep in, I feel like it. But the thing is, there's a patch coming up, so I'm not sure how much of a change there's going to be with the meta because of that patch. We're gonna have to see as once it's released and the weeks go by. So again, congratulations to Rora getting the 2-1. Again, bumping their standings up here. Rora is now 2nd place, right? It's their 2nd place under TLPH. So now moving on to the last match of day 2, TLPH versus Onyx Philippines. This was a sweep. This was a stampede because god dang, 11-39 in game 1 and then 16-15 for game 2. TLPH just came in swinging. I mean, the fact too that you got Louis Yi for both games for Sanji is pretty wild. We know he loves this hero. We know that he can do some pretty crazy stuff with that hero, and that's exactly what happened. And Onyx Philippines, they just got shut down. This is, again, day 2. People were like, damn. Again, asking what is going on with Onyx Philippines, just like they are with their counterpart in Indonesia. I think Coach Yeb was in the audience too. Big shout out to Coach Yeb, VP of Onic. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely struggling. And for a team like TLPH, I said it in the previous video, this is just their meta. It's working really well for them. They're all synced in, they're all locked in, and they seem really hard to beat for teams right now. And so moving on to day 3, this was also a pretty exciting day yesterday. I only streamed Aurora and TNC. It was a 3-game series. Brigida was on desk on the English desk for that. And I would say for the most part, again, it's just like Super Yoshi tried to do what he could against, you know, Aurora here, but ultimately it was just a, it just didn't work out. Or sorry, not Super Yoshi. Super Yoshi. My bad. Not Super Yoshi. How could I forget? This was the Showdown. This was Yaoi and Renegade. Yaoi and Renegade. Again, Yaoi, for those that don't know, he is known to be the Cho. Like, he is Cho. But Renegade is also known as an amazing Cho player because, you know, that's one of the ways he got his moniker, the Hitman. And so it's funny because TNC got Cho, but even though they won game 2, it was such a struggle for Yaoi in this series because Aurora knew how to play around it. And again, you had a lot of great setup here. Not only that, but you had a lot of late game insurance policy with picking a Sicilian 3 times in a row, dude. Like the fact that UA had Sicilian 3 times in a row, and if they needed that late game policy, then that was it. But more than that, again, the Kite Brothers, man. The Kite Brothers were just absolutely on point. They've been doing really well. I like to see that that growth between Domin Kite and Demon Kite. I think Demon Kite has also just really kind of settled into being that jungler. Like, he doesn't always have to be flashy or anything like that. Although the way, you know, he plays the Suyo, for example, or the Joy is, he's really fit the role into this. So just overall, great to see. And I think also too, one of the picks that came up was this carry from Domin Kite in game 3. And it really solved a lot of the issues with the Phoveus. I mean, Phoveus has popped up so many times, and you see teams really struggle to take down a Phoveus early game, mid game, because he's just so damn tanky, especially when he has a Vengeance, man. But the carry ended up being a great pick, and this has only been picked maybe 2 or 3 times so far. So maybe we see teams start to lean into the carry. But obviously she struggles with range right now in comparison to the other gold lane options like the Harith and the Granger, or the Irithyll that has that mobility. But I would say, especially once carry locks in that Malefic Gun, helps with some of the range issues, but she still shreds, you know, she shreds tanky heroes really well. So overall, great series. The showdown was solved, and Aurora wins 2-1. Now for the last matchup, I didn't stream this one because I just felt like it was, you know, this one was an expected matchup. This is, again, the defending world champions and our defending previous MPL Philippines champions against the weakest team right now, AP Bren, and they swept them. Now, game 1 was pretty quick, of course, then you have 18, and I just feel like still, I guess the best way to put this, and I don't mean this in any, like, I don't mean this in any way negative possible towards AP Bren, but when I watch them play, even, you know, when I, like yesterday, I was just watching it, and although they have some good moments, it's almost like when you watch sports teams, and it's like a varsity team versus a junior varsity team. Your varsity versus your JV team. Like, the JV team is going to get smacked around. They are. Because they're not as big, they're not as strong, they don't have as much speed, they don't have as much experience. They might make some plays, they might score a touchdown here or there, but they're not going to beat them, right? Now, there were some moments, I will say this again, there were some moments where, for example, James Panks, the jungler, was out-retring King Kong. Or maybe Shizu was popping off a little bit. So they have their moments, they have their potential. But I just think this is going to be one of those seasons for, specifically for this lineup for AP Bren, that is, you know, it's like, let's figure out who we are. Let's get the reps in, basically. That's what I see this season for them being. So again, it was expected that Onyx should sweep them, and this is also a win that I feel like Onyx definitely needed, even though it was against the 8th place seed team. This was 100% a win that Onyx needed to go ahead and, you know, work up. I'm actually wondering, are these updated? Maybe these aren't updated. Okay, these are updated now. Yeah, Onyx has 2. Okay. So these are updated. I forgot to refresh earlier. So Aurora's actually tied 5 for 5. So speaking of standings, we might as well just go ahead and go over them. So we have this TLPH at 5, Aurora at 5. So they're technically tied in terms of matches, right? 5-0, 5-0. But the net game win right now for TLPH is 9, and the net game win for Aurora is 6. So they're a little bit behind, but match point wise they are tied. Falcons is at 4 match points, so they're in 3rd place. 4th place we have TNC at 3 points. 5th place we have Onyx at 2 points, and then 6th we have Omega at 1. 7th we have Twisted at 1, and then 8th place we have AP Brand at 0. So these bottom 3 teams especially got to do some work going into week 4. And real quick before we wrap up, again, let's go ahead and take a look at week 4 real quickly. So we've got this. We're opening up the week. By the way, just to throw it out there, I am casting on Saturday, Sunday for week 4. So I only casted Friday last week. This week I'll be casting Saturday and Sunday. So let's see. Week 4, we open up with TNC and TLPH. TNC and TLPH. It's probably gonna be TLPH. Hopefully for a 2-1 here. Hopefully 2-1. Omega. I would like to see AP Bren win, man. Like Super Yoshi has been on some, like I said, Super Yoshi's been on it. But I'd like to see AP Bren win, get their first win, because their only other opponent is Falcons. So maybe they have a chance against Omega, because they have taken at least some games against some of other teams. But for the most part, it's probably going to be Omega. Maybe 2-1. So 2-1, 2-1. Day 2, we've got TLPH versus Aurora. That's going to be a really fun game. It would be kind of crazy if Aurora beats TLPH, because they're both at the top of the standings right now, right? Depending what, obviously, TLPH does here, too. If they win TNC, they're still up. So Aurora, TLPH, I think I want to see this as a 2-1 for Aurora. Onyx versus Omega, I want to see a 2-1 for Onyx. And then for Falcons versus AP Bren, I expect 2-0 Falcons. Now, day 3, Twisted Minds versus Onyx. Onyx, I think, is going to go ahead. And I think by this time, if they beat Omega especially, they'll be on a stride. They'll 2-0 Twisted. And then for Falcons versus Aurora, I think Falcons wins this 2-1, because the glorious. If you guys know, you know. So that is gonna wrap us up here for week 3. This one's a little bit longer, but you know, I hope you guys got to learn a thing or two with me and get a little caught up here on week 3 of the MPL Philippines. We're now going into our midway point. Week 4 is ahead of us already. It's kind of crazy that we are hitting week 4. Gave some of my predictions. Let me know what you guys thought as well of week 3. I like to read some of your guys' comments on what you guys thought about the previous week. Let me know what you guys think. Again, Super Yoshi was a highlight. The Badang, seeing the Ruby again, the absolute cinematic experience of that game 1 that we got to see between Omega and Aurora. What were some of your favorite moments there, right? And again, thank you guys for watching the streams. Thank you guys for watching these recaps. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, comment down below. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to, and we'll see you either in the streams or on the next recap video or in the venue if you guys get to go watch. Alrighty, that's gonna be it for me. Again, check out the streams over here, and the socials will be also down in the description if you guys want to follow me. I post a lot of stories on IG, so if you guys want to watch some of my daily life stuff, you can check out my IG. And that's going to do it for us, guys. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you guys back here for another video next week or on stream. Until then, later.